I met God walking across the street on my way to class one morning in the beginning of my second semester on campus. I started college in the college at the university that I thought was going to be right for me, and I realized during that first semester that I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. So I got out of that college and I switched to another one that I thought would be right. But I didn't know what I was going to major in. I had given up my first choice of major, and I was thinking about what was I going to major in. And what I realized there in the middle of the street, it was very quiet. There was no one around and there were no cars. But in the middle of the street, I realized that something was, as I thought about what to major in, I realized that something was guiding my choices, and that something wasn't me. And the reason I'm sharing that story is because I want to introduce this idea of what I now call God. I need to make the point, and I think people are going to find this hard to understand, but what I now call God is something that's alive. It's a living thing. But here's where traditional religion gets it wrong. They think that God is some kind of a being, like a human being. And that idea just doesn't fly in today's modern world. And that's why the two groups I've spoken of in the last recording, those two groups of people have fallen away from religion and God. And it's because of I think the whole problem is the word being. God is not a being, but at the same time, as that my street story, walking across the street, reveals, God is alive. It's a living thing that's inside of me, that's inside my mind. It's my connection to the universe, and it guides me. It gives me, it's the gut instinct, what the right thing is. There is right and wrong in the universe, and the source of the knowledge of right and wrong is God. But it's not a being, so everybody gets tripped up on that. The proper way to go is to understand that, what you have to do is open up your definition of God, your understanding of God, and make it accept that it's more nebulous than we thought before, traditionally. So there's two things that you have to do if you want to be in the third group. There are three groups of people when it comes to religion. The nuns, the people who choose on a census form what their religion is none, N-O-N-E. They choose none. That's a growing group in the world. That's one group. And the other group are these people who, go to church, but they're not really doing it correctly because they haven't accepted the fact that something is greater than they are. They think that they are, they're just doing it wrong. And the third group is the one I'm in, where I want you guys to be in it too. And that is the people who know that the universe is magical and mystical, and that there is a God. There's no question God exists. It just depends on how you look at it and how you define it. And that's hard. The reason we throughout history have anthropomorphized this idea of God is because it's something that we can understand and talk about. When it's more nebulous, it's hard to do that, It's harder to understand what I'm talking about. But my whole point with this recording today about this walking across the street story and the moment I met God, I realized something was guiding my choices. And that the whole idea is that God is alive. And God is greater than I am. Think about the universe. Instead of thinking about God as some kind of supernatural being, like a human being, think about God as being the universe, because the universe is obviously bigger and more powerful and greater than you are, and I am, But it's also, the universe is magical. It's alive. It's interacting with me every moment I'm conscious. This thing I now call God is in my mind with me everywhere I go, every moment I'm awake. Does that make sense? I hope so. I just remembered something else that happened to me yesterday that's relevant to this topic. I was listening to a Christian music station, and I heard a really beautiful song written by and sung by a young woman, and she's talking about God, and she's talking about that God's love and that God loves her, and there's a warmth to it and this kind of thing. It's just a beautiful song, and I thought it's a shame that so many people aren't gonna be able to enjoy that song, because she's talking about God as my Father, and she's talking about God's love, just loving her and wrapping her in warmth and in love. And what I wanted to add about that song is that the universe is like that too. You know, the universe can be a cold, evil place, but it also can be a place that is it just wraps its love around you. Again, it all has to do with how you look at it. I'm going to end this recording here. Bye.